I rejected my boyfriend's marriage proposal, and my best friend collapsed. Little did she know, I had been reborn. In my previous life, my best friend Lily had deliberately bound herself to a career luck exchange system. The more love-struck I became, the better her career prospects grew. Later, when my career plummeted from its peak into an abyss, I caught her and my boyfriend in a compromising situation. In my panic state, a chandelier fell and killed me. This time, I decided to quietly build my career, destroy that shameless couple, and send his entire family packing. In my previous life, while at the peak of my career, I rejected a golden opportunity from a renowned Oscar-winning director, Lynn, to announce my retirement from entertainment and get engaged. My best friend, Lily, however, had always struggled in the industry. Yet, thanks to that very film, Lily became an international movie queen. Backstage at her celebration party, I witnessed a horrifying scene. She and my newlywed husband were passionately kissing and embracing. Terrified of losing both the most important people in my life at once, I stopped my mother from confronting them on my behalf. Just then, an electronic voice suddenly echoed in my head. Karen's Lovestruck Index has surpassed 100. Career Index has dropped to 0. Successful exchange completed with best friend Lily. In 3 seconds, the target will be erased by the system. With a countdown ticking, a massive chandelier fell from the ceiling, crushing me to death. My soul hovered above, watching my best friend beaming under the camera flashes, my husband secretly fondling her behind in the crowd, and my parents holding my shattered corpse, weeping in despair. I truly died with my eyes wide open. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the moment before my boyfriend proposed to me. I heard the system in my best friend's head emitting robotic electronic sounds. Congratulations, host. The brain exchange system you acquired by trading 20 years of your lifespan has successfully bound. As long as the target's Lovestruck Index exceeds 100, the traded lifespan will be returned to the host twofold. The target will be erased. Conversely, the host will be erased. It was then I realized that to steal everything from me, my best friend had been cruel enough to summon a killer system. After the electronic notification in my best friend's head concluded, a knock echoed at the door. Lily stood there, followed by my boyfriend, Charles Gu. Lily was my roommate at the film academy. She came from a small town, had average grades, but possessed a beautiful face. Lacking influence when she first enrolled, a wealthy young lady in our dorm treated her like a personal servant. After I stood up for her once, she clung to me. When I wore designer clothes my parents brought from abroad, she would say, "I truly envy you for having loving parents, unlike mine. They're laid-off factory workers, and they prioritize sons over daughters, only giving me 500 yuan a month for living expenses." When I earned a scholarship through my own efforts, she would lament, "Oh, your family cultivated your artistic talents since childhood, while I had to plant rice and dig wild vegetables from a young age, with no artistic flair whatsoever. Why is my life so miserable?" Feeling sorry for her, I shared everything I had. Little did I know, my kindness only emboldened the ambitions of this ungrateful, treacherous person. Lily entered my home, feigning concern for me. "I heard director Lin wants to meet you. I found out the female lead in his new film has bold, intimate scenes. I came to advise you not to meet him. It'll be hard to directly refuse such an offer." Charles Gu, my good boyfriend, chimed in, "That's right, Karen. I also don't want you to sacrifice so much for art." Actually, I was a die-hard fan of director Lin. I knew he wasn't some sleazy director who forced actresses to strip for views. His designs served the script, and he always respected the actors' decisions. But in my previous life, my best friend and boyfriend had used the excuse that doing intimate scenes would make it impossible to marry into the Gu family, to persuade me to give up. Blinded by thoughts of romance, I eventually let my manager decline the meeting. Little did I know, this was the first step in Lily's plan to erase me. The more love-struck I became, the more opportunities she gained. And when I was erased by the system, my assets would naturally fall into my husband's hands. Yes, Charles Gu was also part of this erasure plan. Ignorant and foolish, I abandoned my career, accepted his proposal, and wanted to be his virtuous wife. In this life, Lily, thinking I was still hesitating, subtly gestured to Charles Gu. Charles Gu knelt on one knee, pulled out a ring, preparing to propose. I, however, struck with a surprise blow. "Charles, let's break up." Both of their eyes immediately widened in shock. What else? Lily had used her own lifespan to bind herself to the killer system. If I wasn't love-struck, she would be erased. Their expressions were truly comical. It's only just begun, and things are already this interesting. Lily anxiously asked, Karen, what's wrong? Why are you suddenly talking about breaking up? I put on a wronged expression, looking at Charles Gu kneeling on the floor. Charles, every day with you has been incredibly happy, but gradually I've realized I've become worthless, no longer worthy of you. Charles Gu was a rich second-generation heir, but regrettably, he was an illegitimate child. His mother was exiled abroad by his stepmother right after he was born. In high school, even though he was top of his class, he never caught his father's eye. After all, his father had risen thanks to his stepmother's family. What were good grades in school worth? Initially, his pitiful circumstances had stirred my compassion, but I never truly loved him. It was his tireless attention for 5 years that moved me, making me mistakenly believe he was sincere and driven. But in my previous life, on the day Lily received her award, my dress was stained by a new waiter. While I was hiding backstage to change, I caught Charles Gu and Lily in a compromising act. Afterwards, Charles Gu, smoking, smugly said, "You're still more exciting. Karen and I are like left hand touching right, no passion at all. After all, with you it was love at first sight, but with her it was merely for her father's family influence. With her father's support, I would have the opportunity to take control of the Gu group. Lily, just wait a little longer for me. Marriage can't tie down my heart. Once I get what I want, I'll announce to the world that Charles Gu will only love you his entire life." What had happened was merely temporary, a deception of my feelings, taking advantage of my family, and then shamelessly claiming I used marriage to bind him. This was the man I had loved to death and back. At that moment, I was so furious I wanted to spit blood, but my mind was utterly blank, my body numb, unable to think. I held it in until they finished 3 rounds and left the scene, only then did I painfully step out. Coincidentally, my mother came to find me and witnessed them intimately holding hands, intending to confront them on my behalf. But I, fearing the loss of both my best friend and my husband, desperately begged my mother not to discipline that despicable couple. Remembering all the events of my previous life, I just wanted to slap myself. So foolish, so indignant. Reborn in this life, I will definitely return double the humiliation and suffering I endured to them. Seeing my gloomy face, Charles Gu hugged me. "Why are you thinking like this? If I've upset you in any way, just tell me, and I'll definitely fix it." Lily was even more anxious than Charles Gu, putting on an understanding and reasonable facade. That's right, couples shouldn't talk about breaking up so casually. If Charles has done anything wrong, I'll remind him to change. Hearing your words, you and my boyfriend seem even closer than I am with him. If you two are so perfectly matched, why don't you get together? After all, he and I are like left hand touching right, there's no passion left. Lily's eyes widened in astonishment. Karen, I'm trying to help you two reconcile. How can you twist my words? You know I don't have loving parents. Charles only looks after me like a little sister, and you're the one he truly loves. I understand you're not in a good mood, but have you considered that words like knives can hurt someone who genuinely loves you? What a master of words she was. My heart was cold as ice, but my gloomy expression didn't falter. Hearing your heartfelt words, I'm truly crushed. Actually, I lied. My dad invested a lot of capital into chip research, and now the capital flow has broken down. If we don't get a new round of funding, my family will go bankrupt. Charles, I don't want to hold you back. With that, I burst into sobs. As I wiped away my tears, I secretly observed their expressions. Both looked as if they had just swallowed something indigestible. Hee, how could they not have guessed that the target of their scheme would suddenly lose her exploitable value midway? One would lose her chance to sell herself for glory, and the other, if he didn't continue the capture, would be erased by the system. Let's see what wicked schemes you two can cook up. I continued to cry, my face buried in my hands. Lily feigned comfort. Isn't it just money, Karen? Did you forget about the Gu family's bride price? Charles Gu hesitated, speechless, until Lily gave him a pitiful look. He then stammered, That's right, Karen, I'll use all my family's resources to help you through this difficulty. Charles Gu, that hypocrite, started making empty promises, as if he had any say in the Gu family's decisions. I wiped away my tears and calmly said, My dad needs 50 million yuan to get through this crisis. Charles, can you truly arrange that for me? I knew the Gu family had money, but the financial power was in his stepmother's hands. Charles Gu only received 100,000 yuan in monthly allowance from the family fund. Where would he get 50 million yuan? He was surely looking for an excuse to delay, waiting to trick my dad into revealing chip technology secrets to offer to Mr. Gu. then collude with Lily and the system to erase me. As expected, Charles Gu looked troubled. Karen, 50 million yuan in cash is very difficult to raise immediately. Give me some time. I need to discuss with my father about selling the villa he gave me, and there are some stocks too. Just as I predicted, Lily also pulled me aside, telling me not to make things difficult for Charles Gu. I squeezed out a few more tears and pulled out my phone. You're right, I can't make things hard for Charles. I'll call my manager right now. From now on, I'll accept any reality show or script, as long as the price is high, the transfer is fast, even intimate scenes are fine. I have to save my dad. Charles, I've decided to break up. I can't abandon my parents to enjoy sweet love alone. I want to focus on making money. Seeing me actually dial my manager, Lily hurriedly snatched my phone and hung up. You absolutely cannot accept director Lin's film, and you two cannot break up. Charles, think of something. Think about it, we know, you two have been through so much together. That's right, Charles, don't you have a trusted confidant in the Gu Group's finance department? You could ask him to help with an urgent loan. Once Karen's family is out of danger, the money will be returned quickly, without even alerting Mr. Gu. I smirked triumphantly. To prevent me from taking director Lin's role and to seize it for herself, Lily was now egging Charles Gu on to embezzle company funds. Charles Gu looked at me, still sobbing, and remained silent. It wasn't until Lily and he exchanged meaningful glances for a while that he gritted his teeth and said, Karen, don't cry anymore. 50 million, I'll take care of it today. Lily, in her green tea persona, also comforted me. Don't worry, Charles will find a way for you. Just stay home and be a little princess. Hearing this, Charles Gu knelt down again, pulling out the ring. Karen, marry me. I'll spoil you and make you the happiest princess in the world. I smiled without saying a word, letting him place the ring on my finger. How could I break up with them when I hadn't even finished playing with them to death? Sure enough, 50 million yuan was transferred on time. I took the money to my parents as a filial gift, claiming it was the Gu family's bride price. Unaware of the truth, my parents thought I had found happiness and happily told me to cherish Charles Gu. They didn't know that in my previous life, after I died, my mother suffered a heart attack. Charles Gu colluded with the Gu group to take advantage of the situation and plunder the Karen group. My father, alone, had to care for my mother and save the company. His own illness was constantly delayed, never checked, and he eventually collapsed from exhaustion and died suddenly on his way to the hospital. I sadly looked at my parents. Just for the crime of embezzlement, the revenge I planned for that despicable couple, Lily and Charles Gu, was still far from enough. I immediately called my manager to arrange a meeting with Director Lin and instructed him to keep my schedule a secret. That night, Director Lin, his team, and I chatted all night. After all, I had been a fan of his for years, and our creative philosophies aligned perfectly. He quickly decided to cast me as the female lead. The female lead was a masked secret agent. I also suggested keeping the cast list under wraps until the film's release to surprise the audience. The director happily agreed. I declined all other work, spending every day at home studying the script. Lily, meanwhile, thought I was settling down. I heard she had secretly contacted Director Lin but had been rejected several times. Today, she blamed her career struggles on my decreasing love-struck index and dragged Charles Gu to my house, pressuring me to go on a date. With red-rimmed eyes, I said, my dad got sick trying to pay off debts, so I've accepted an outdoor reality show. I have to join the crew tonight. The plan had taken another turn. Charles Gu's face darkened, and Lily no longer maintained her ladylike demeanor in front of him. She yelled, What, didn't I tell you to focus on wedding preparations? Why are you going back on your word? Do you know this will hurt Charles? Besides, how much money can a reality show even make? 2 million. This time, the despicable couple fell silent. Charles Gu grabbed my hand. 2 million isn't much. If you're still short on money, I'll tell the finance department to find more. Did he still think I was doing it for money? Spending your money is like taking your lives. How wonderful. I pulled out the show contract. The contract is signed. The penalty for breach is 50 million yuan. I have to go. The first leg is the desert, the second is a volcano, and I even have to eat fried rats. Precisely because no other beauty dared to take such risks, the production team agreed to transfer the money to me immediately. Charles, our wedding might have to be postponed. If you don't agree, then we break up. Charles Gu suddenly pulled me into a hug, comforting me. Don't rush, I'll finish my company call and come back to talk. After Charles Gu feigned his departure, Lily also said she was going to the restroom and disappeared. I secretly followed, hiding behind a bush, and heard Charles Gu's voice. "How about you go in her place?" Lily said, aggrieved. "Charles, how can I? I'll miss my audition for director Lynn's film. Besides, with such a dangerous schedule, how could I possibly complete it? Or maybe you could tell the finance department to transfer another 50 million so she can pay the contract penalty." Charles Gu held his forehead. "Lily, if this gets out, my father will find out and I'll be kicked out of the house. You're a sensible person. You should understand the bigger picture." After a pause, he added, "Reality shows all have scripts. There's no such thing as the dangers she described. Besides, once Karen marries me, once she's erased, you can have any role you want." Lily calmed down then, her aggrieved expression easing slightly. "You're right." I snorted coldly and returned to my room. Their appetite isn't small, is it? Demanding this and that without even considering if I'd agree. Not long after, they both came back. Lily came over to me, intimately linking her arm with mine. "Karen, I haven't been caring enough about you. It's understandable that you're worried about Uncle Karen and want to earn money. Coincidentally, I also want to travel and broaden my horizons. I'll go on that reality show for you, you just take the money. You stay here and prepare for the wedding and take care of Uncle Karen through this difficult time." With that, Lily looked at me. "Are you at ease now?" Of course, I was at ease. "This trip, meticulously arranged by me for you, is in a foreign land. By then you'll call to heaven and not be heard, call to earth and not be answered. Just thinking about it is exhilarating." I quickly agreed. "Then, my dear best friend, you'll have a tough time." That night, I had my prearranged people, disguised as production crew, escort Lily onto the plane. All the staff accompanying her were stopped below the plane due to contract regulations. After that, I threw myself into preparing for the new film. Sometimes, when exhausted from memorizing lines, I would watch the surveillance footage of Lily. Indeed, the high-priced team I hired was truly authentic and well-trained. Lily was forced to eat live fried rats, screaming hysterically in terror. As the rat squeaked in her mouth, Lily screamed madly along with it, losing all semblance of composure. When it came to the challenge of flying over a pit of dung, she luckily escaped, but she was still caught by my people that very night. Then she was kicked into the dung pit. Like a mole, every time she poked her head up, someone would hit it back down with a stick. The scene was truly exhilarating. Of course, I wouldn't let her die so easily. I hadn't had enough fun yet. Only after she had eaten and drunk her fill did I let my people release her. That night, she finally discovered something amiss and tried to call for help. Unfortunately, her phone had been tampered with. She cried for help in vain, instinctively coming up with a clever plan. She began to seduce the show's director to save her life. Little did she know, her entire flirtatious process was recorded. Unfortunately, the director wasn't interested in her tricks at all. After she finished her display, the other party merely gave her a look of disdain. Ashamed and angry, she slammed the door and returned to her room, beginning to doubt her own attractiveness. Watching the entire thing, I burst into laughter, laughing until I woke up and continued studying my script. In my previous life, after I died, my mother suffered a heart attack and collapsed. My father dedicated himself to saving her. Charles Gu seized the opportunity, claiming he had contacted a top cardiac specialist abroad, winning my father's trust. So, my father took my mother overseas for treatment. At that very moment, Charles Gu spread rumors that my family's goods were radioactive and my father had absconded with money. By the time Karen Group's stock prices plummeted disastrously, Charles Gu had colluded with other ambitious figures in the Gu Group to aggressively acquire it. It wasn't until my father realized that the specialist was just a Jianghu quack, and the board of directors had been taken over by Charles Gu and his father, Mr. Gu, who held a majority of shares. My father hastily contacted old subordinates to try and reclaim the company, but tragically, he overworked day and night and died suddenly. My mother, due to a moment's negligence by her caregiver, fell from her hospital bed and passed away. But I knew that caregiver had been deliberately arranged by Charles Gu. I still didn't understand why Charles Gu, having already got everything, needed to relentlessly pursue and kill my parents. It wasn't until my father's funeral that my soul witnessed Mr. Gu's actions. He insultingly poured a bottle of Moutai liquor over my father's tombstone, muttering, "You wouldn't drink the toast, so you get the penalty drink. You deserve it." It turned out it was all at his instruction, just because my father, years ago at a banquet, refused a drink he offered, causing him to lose face and hold a grudge. Indeed, like father, like son. In that moment, I secretly vowed that whatever they had done to destroy my parents, I would hoist them with their own petards. If Charles Gu wanted to please his father most, what if his father were to think he had a wolf's heart and a jackal's guts, intent on monopolizing the Gu group? The Gu family's legal wife was named Mrs. Zhuang. In my previous life, I only met her a few times at parties. Each time, Charles Gu was so obsequious that I thought Mrs. Zhuang was a man-eating demon. In reality, she was wealthy and beautiful, just extremely competitive and ruthless in dealing with mistresses. That day, I deliberately chose a luxury brand's new product launch day to browse the store, knowing Mrs. Zhuang would definitely be in the VIP room enjoying super VIP service. As I was choosing clothes, I feigned a mournful voice into my phone. Charles, I'm fine with anything, but my mom says if the diamond ring isn't big enough, she'll lose face. She picked out a square pink diamond for me that's just over 50 million. If we don't have enough, I can sell the villa, right? Oh, you really don't need my help? I knew you loved me. You'd pluck the stars from the sky for me. Love you, love you. After the call, I excitedly pointed to a row of bags on the shelf. I'll take all of these. My husband gave me his black card. My friend, following my cue, pretended to be astonished. Karen, are you really marrying the Gu family's second young master? I heard he has no real power, so how does he have so much money? 50 million in cash just like that? I glanced at her and loudly declared, Charles Gu was the valedictorian of his university. Do you know how much Mr. Gu values him? The inheritance rights are practically reserved for him alone. Charles said it himself, the Gu group will be his sooner or later. He can get as much money as he wants with just one phone call. You don't know anything and just babble nonsense here. My friend quickly chimed in, yes, yes. Charles Gu's abilities truly surpass the Gu family's eldest son. After paying, I happily left. That night, Charles Gu, still in a daze, came to my house, solicitously asking about my parents, then urged me. Karen, I see Uncle Karen's health has recovered well, so shouldn't we proceed with the wedding? Marry in a hurry just for you to kill me and seize my family's assets. In this life, if you want to marry, you'll first experience what despair feels like. I want to be with you too, but my dad says you have to pass a little test. Can you handle the challenge? While I was playfully toying with him, Charles Gu's phone suddenly rang. After he went to the garden to take the call, he rushed back in furious. Karen, did you tell anyone about me embezzling funds? I blinked my innocent eyes. Charles, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Charles Gu punched the wall in agitation. My father found out about the urgent loan. Besides me, only you and Lily know about this. Lily is abroad filming a show, so it can only be you. I feigned panic and spoke vaguely. There's something I shouldn't say, but I'm afraid you'll misunderstand. Actually, your elder brother is pursuing Lily, even following her to the film set. Perhaps Lily inadvertently revealed something to him. Of course, I believe Lily didn't do it on purpose. Charles Gu gnashed his teeth. Is that so? Lily's phone had been out of signal for half a month, giving him no chance to contact her. Coupled with these rumors, how could he not overthink it? Lily called me from abroad once, asking me to inquire about your elder brother's preferences and told me not to tell anyone. They're truly a perfect match. I thought Lily didn't want paparazzi to affect their relationship, so I kept it a secret for her. I truly didn't expect her to carelessly let it slip. Charles Gu still didn't believe it. How could it be Lily? So you don't believe me? If that's the case, why are we even getting married? With that, I burst into sobs. Charles Gu helplessly comforted me. After comforting me for a long time, seeing my firm resolve to cancel the wedding, he quickly knelt down. Karen, I was too impulsive and spoke out of turn. You and I have been together for 5 years. How could I believe an outsider like Lily over you? Honestly, everyone knows she's just a promiscuous woman who anyone can be with. If I hadn't seen how close you two were, I wouldn't have even bothered with her. Indeed, what a scoundrel. Once his interests were affected, the woman he always claimed to love the most immediately became a promiscuous woman. It was truly ridiculous that Lily would trade her lifespan for a killer system for such a man. Before leaving, Charles Gu said he would continue investigating and talk with evidence. If it was indeed Lily, he would not let her off. And he was a university valedictorian? His mind doesn't seem to be very good. Even if he finds the person who spread the rumor, what then? When Mr. Gu found out his son had embezzled company funds without authorization, Charles Gu's trustworthiness in his heart dropped to 0. With suspicion growing infinitely, what would the narrow-minded Mr. Gu do? It was truly something to look forward to. A few days later, Lily returned. A second before she disembarked the plane, the scandalous video of her seducing the show's director had shot to the top of the hot search. As I hummed a tune at home, applying a face mask, Lily, tormented to the point of being unrecognizable, dark and thin, burst in, confronting me. "You engineered this to harm me, didn't you?" My eyes widened innocently. "Lily, are you okay? Why do you look like this ghostly apparition? You scared me to death." "And what's with the video on the hot search? I've been so worried about you," she screamed, agitated. "I checked, that show doesn't even exist. Today's paparazzi news was also deliberately released by someone." I feigned astonishment. "How could that be? That show is from a video platform that the Goo Group invested in. The boss himself contacted me to participate. Why would he deliberately trick me?" This wicked scheme in my previous life, I never would have thought of it, but in this life, I was proficient at it. It felt natural. Lily's eyes were red with fury. "It was precisely you who did this on purpose. You knew Mr. Goo's wife wanted to take everything from Charles, even destroy you, so you sent me onto that pirate ship instead of yourself." Excellent, she actually thought this was Mrs. Zhuang's doing. I took off my mask, putting on a White Lotus act, sobbing. "Lily, you're right, I did harm you. Whatever compensation you want, I'll agree to it." Lily gnashed her teeth, lunging towards me. Just then, Charles Gu arrived with a late-night snack for me. Seeing the scene, without asking for explanations, he slapped Lily across the face. "You vile woman, why are you harming Karen?" Slap. Lily fell to the ground, her face disbelieving. This slap, of course, Charles Gu didn't deliver for me, but because of the green hat on his head and his resentment at being kicked out of the Gu family. I pretended to be heartbroken and went to help Lily up. "Charles, she's my best friend. Even if Lily went too far, you shouldn't have hit her. You even called her promiscuous and told me to stay away from her. I really don't know how to face you anymore." Lily collapsed, lunging towards Charles Gu. "You hit me and then you called me promiscuous? Fine, Charles Gu, today I'll spill everything. At worst, we'll all go down together." Seeing the chaotic situation, Charles Gu hastily covered Lily's mouth. "What nonsense are you talking about? Do you have a death wish?" Lily immediately froze. Seeing they wanted to stop, I decided to add fuel to the fire. Clink, I took off my ring and threw it to the ground. "Charles Gu, how dare you threaten Lily? I'm not getting married anymore." I tearfully began calling my manager, asking him to help me draft a press release announcing the cancellation of the wedding. I put him on speaker. The manager on the other end shouted, "Karen, don't be impulsive. Your film—" I quickly hung up. Because I knew the manager's next line would be, "The film is about to start shooting. It's better to have one less problem than one more." I couldn't let Lily and Charles Gu hear that now. After all, I had other plans. Charles Gu had lost everything. Seeing that I had truly called my manager to announce the cancellation of the wedding, he frantically knelt down and slapped himself in the face. "Karen, I was wrong," I spoke out of turn. "I'll apologize to Lily right away. Please forgive me." Lily, realizing I was serious, knew that saving her own life was paramount. She covered her face and said, "I'm fine, I'm despicable, I deserve to be hit. Charles disciplining me is actually helping me correct my mistakes." It wasn't until Charles Gu had slapped himself into a pig's head that I feigned indignation and spoke up. "No, why is it that when men make mistakes, it's a small matter, but when women make mistakes, they're criticized by thousands?" "Lily, if you can't swallow this anger, then slap him back." As if she had been waiting for a long time, in Charles Gu's astonished gaze, Lily raised her hand and delivered 2 resounding slaps to him. "He and I have made up, Karen. Please forgive him." Charles Gu glared fiercely at her. I coolly looked at their 2 reddened, slapped faces and feigned mollification. "All right, Lily, I'll listen to you and forgive him." With just a little discord sown, the looks they exchanged were filled with malice and disappointment. Selfish, self-serving people talking about love, how ridiculous. Charles Gu was kicked out of the company, his villa repossessed. To turn his situation around, he could only marry me. As we were preparing for the wedding, I suggested that Charles Gu give me his Gu Group shares as a betrothal gift. Charles Gu's jaw dropped in shock. Lily also pulled me aside and said, "You're too greedy. Those are Charles Gu's remaining few assets. Taking them is like taking his life." Of course, I knew that. Why else would I demand them from him? In my previous life, he used those Gu Group shares as seed capital to acquire Karen Group shares, eventually setting a trap that got my father expelled from the board of directors. In this life, only by seizing his assets could I rest assured and let him keep his dog's life. As expected, Charles Gu disagreed. "Karen, you've gone too far. What's the point of this? Why don't you just take my life directly?" "All right, fine." If it weren't for the 5 years you've spent with me and my wanting to be responsible, I wouldn't be in a hurry to marry. If you're not sincere about being with me, then let's just end it. From now on, I won't care about your affairs. The 50 million I lent you, return it to me quickly. I never knew you were so materialistic. 5 years wasted on you, I must have been blind. Oh, he's crumbling. Good, his crumbling means I've hit the scoundrel's last nerve. I forced out a few more tears and pulled out a prenuptial agreement. Charles, don't rush, look at this first. Charles Gu read the contract and was astonished. Karen, are you and Uncle Karen preparing to transfer the company to me? I nodded obediently. Charles, I didn't realize my words just now caused you to misunderstand. I'm an only daughter and I'm not good at business. After we marry, the company will naturally be yours. I'm asking for Gu Group shares because I hope you can invest in the Karen Group. Combined with my dad's shares, you can legitimately join the board of directors and become chairman. After their outburst at my house, I had told my parents everything from my previous life, including being erased by the system. Although my parents didn't understand what a system was, after hearing about the injustices I suffered in my past life and their tragic deaths, they decided to support my revenge without hesitation. At that moment, I held my parents' hands and cried like a fool. No matter what, only my parents were the most forgiving and trusting of me. In this life, I would risk everything to ensure they lived a comfortable old age. According to my instructions, my father, along with his old loyal subordinates in the company, put on a play that made Charles Gu willingly hand over his Gu Group shares. My father's assets were not insignificant. Coupled with my father arranging for people to buy scattered shares, it wasn't long before my family held 38% of the Gu Group's shares. To stabilize Lily, I had my people manage her scandal. Every day, I bought trending topics praising her hot video, highlighting her beautiful figure and portraying her as an independent woman with a big female lead role coming up. Lily reveled in her smooth-sailing career. Charles Gu was also happily getting acquainted with the business of the Karen Group. While they let their guard down, I secretly joined the crew and completed filming. When the film wrapped, the wedding was also put on the schedule. During the preparations, Charles Gu and Lily, fearing I would change my mind, took turns watching over me, claiming they were worried about pre-wedding jitters, but in reality they were monitoring me. But it didn't matter, the shares were in hand, the film was shot, everything was almost over. On the wedding day, all the influential people in City A were present, including Mr. Gu and Mrs. Zhuang. To save face in front of outsiders, they also attended. While I was getting ready backstage, Lily ran in, beaming to brag. I got a new film, guess who the director is? I knew why she was so joyful and feigned curiosity. Could it be director Lin? Lily scoffed. Besides him, there are many other excellent directors in the world. The director I'm working with is director Zhang. He's shooting a magnificent epic film. I'm the sole female lead, and it will be officially announced this afternoon. She continued to gloat. And guess who came with me to the wedding today? Haha, it's the young master of a luxury brand. He's far more capable than Charles Gu. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't put others down to elevate myself. But speaking of which, thank you for stepping back from the limelight by getting married. It allowed me so many opportunities. I wish you and Charles Gu 100 years of happiness and a pair of chubby sons. Oh, my foolish best friend, did she think I didn't understand the sarcasm in her words? On the brink of death, yet still boasting about soaring high and marrying into a wealthy family. Keep dreaming, because once you wake up, you should be in hell. The wedding began. When it came to the ring exchange, my father announced that the Karen Group would be inherited by the new son-in-law. Mr. Gu's expression in the audience shifted from surprise to joy, then he looked at his son, his gaze changing from disdain to tenderness. What a pragmatist. Seeing Charles Gu's mouth splitting into a wide grin, I continued, I have a surprise gift for my beloved husband. The crowd below began to murmur, what surprise could be more valuable than the Karen Group as a dowry? Charles Gu was ecstatic. There's another surprise. Karen, you're too good to me. I can't bear to let you go. Hee hee. Still dreaming of erasing me and indulging in desires with Lily, thinking I wouldn't understand. He didn't even bother to pretend anymore. But while he was complacently lost in himself, I leaned into his ear and whispered, Charles, this big gift will surely be etched into your bones. Along with my disdainful smile, the large screen behind us began playing a video. The video showed a woman in a silk nightgown, pinned beneath a man in a suit on a bed. The location where they were exchanging physical skills was an office in the Gu Group, fitted with a one-way mirror. Outside, Goo Group employees were busy working their asses off, while inside, the despicable couple was lost in stimulation. The dim lighting didn't prevent everyone present from immediately recognizing the protagonists, Charles, Goo, and Lily. Charles, Goo, and Lily, that despicable couple, had blank expressions. Mrs. Zhuang and I exchanged smiles from the audience. A few seconds later, everyone below reacted, and the venue erupted. Oh my God, this news is earth-shattering. Lily even stole her best friend's husband, yet she dares to portray herself as an independent woman. I can't believe she's so shameless. Charles Goo is such a hypocrite, usually acting like an elite, looking down on others, but it turns out he's so starved that he can do it in a busy office. But he only lasts 2 minutes at a time. Isn't that a bit short? The chatter grew louder and louder. Everyone was thrilled with the juicy gossip, completely disregarding the main characters present. Lily and Charles Goo, hearing the increasingly harsh words, could no longer maintain their expressions. Their faces were a mix of anger and confusion, truly a sight to behold. Mr. Goo's expression was as if he had just eaten excrement foul and dark about to be drowned by the spittle of the crowd. They tried to leave but were blocked by my people. Ridiculous, the play wasn't over yet. How could I let them go? Outside, reporters were packed tight. Very quickly, they were ordered by me to come in and continuously film the video. Mr. Goo tremblingly pointed at my father on the stage and cursed, "You Karen family scoundrel, I came to your wedding out of respect, and you allow your daughter to ruin the Goo family's reputation?" My father laughed heartily, taking the host's microphone. "Retaliation. It's your son who debased himself. How can you blame my daughter? Dragons beget dragons, phoenixes beget phoenixes, a rat's offspring knows how to dig holes. Since your son is so debased, you as a father should reflect on yourself." Mr. Goo angrily yelled, "You bastard, I'll kill you." In his rage, he tried to rush onto the stage to hit my father, but unfortunately, he was stopped by security. He then turned and slapped Charles Goo to vent his anger. Charles Goo was like a dog that had lost its owner, only bowing his head weakly, completely unable to resist. Tusk tusk, how cowardly. After watching the excellent drama, I calmly said, "Mr. Goo, I know you're in a hurry, but don't rush, I'll make you rush." Then I took out the Goo Group share documents. "Your son, in order to flatter my wife-to-be, transferred his shares to me, and your good wife, to ruin your son's reputation, sold her shares to me. Combined with the shares we anonymously purchased, my father is now the largest shareholder of the Goo Group. I advise you to recognize your place and speak properly to my father." At this point, Mr. Goo wanted to charge at me again. Did he really think he was a gangster? This time I didn't stop him, letting security pin him to the ground and rub him. Mrs. Zhuang, who had just been watching the drama indifferently, was also dumbfounded. In my previous life, she was a fair-weather friend of my mother's. After my parents passed away, she came to my house to smash things, even destroying decorations my mother had personally arranged, and even scoffed at my mother's poor taste and bad fate. Haha, how could I spare such a fake and vicious woman? Among those present, the most admirable person had to be Lily, who was being cursed so terribly. Facing my provocation, her eyes remained calm and unwavering. "Karen, you've already stepped back from the limelight. You're not marrying to be a virtuous wife. Do you still think you can make a comeback?" I smiled without saying a word. The next second, a reporter's voice revealed the truth to her. "Karen, I heard you played the lead role in director Lin's Chip film, with prospects for the Oscar for Best Actress. How do you balance both career and life?" Oh my God, her family is in such disarray, yet she still has time to film a new movie. Does she have 3 heads and 6 arms or something? This is what a true powerful female lead looks like. Director Lin truly has good judgment. Praise and camera flashes surrounded me. Lily looked as if her soul had left her body, her eyes blank. Before she died, I decided to tell her one more thing. "Actually, director Zhang seeking you for the film was also arranged by me. I just casually picked a garbage script to trick you. And you actually believe director Zhang favored you. Tell me, why are you so foolish? Who are you? What's your acting like? Don't you have a sense of your own worth?" Lily screamed hoarsely. "How can that be? Director Zhang personally called me. How could it be a trick?" I calmly smiled. "What's impossible? Voice changers can be bought easily. Are you still living in ancient times? I even know you made a deal with the killer system. As long as my career goes smoothly and I stay away from scoundrel men, you'll be erased." Surprised, astonished. Lily's pupils contracted, and she staggered backward. "Ha ha ha ha, Karen, you're lying to me, aren't you? You're acting, right? You're as stupid as a pig. I've tricked you for so many years. How could you suddenly become smart? I looked at her with an expression full of sympathy. Is it true or false? Why don't you verify it yourself? I left her, her face contorted with despair, turned around, and threw the ring at Charles Gu's face. Along with the clink of the ring hitting the ground, Lily suddenly let out a tragic scream. The chandelier on the ceiling had fallen at some point, precisely hitting her head, crushing her, twisting her limbs, and splattering fresh blood. The scene immediately erupted into chaos. The killer system had truly killed someone. Charles Gu was terrified, mumbling, not even caring about his own father lying on the ground. He stepped over his father and rushed out the main door. But the very next second, he was struck by a meteor falling from the sky, blood gushing out. His whole body convulsed, then he fell to the ground, writhing like an insect for a few moments before losing his breath. At this moment, the robotic sound of the system in Lily's head synchronized in my mind. Dear host, we regret to inform you, your mission has failed. The host and accomplices who disrupted the system's mission have been erased. The two strange accidents inside and outside the house were like a real-life version of Final Destination. Fortunately, everyone else was safe and unharmed. Later, reporters posted the scandalous video, the argument video, and the horrifying accident video from the scene in their entirety. Social media exploded. Everyone lamented, "Heavenly justice is cyclical, retribution is swift. The words of the ancients are all truths." Even later, the Gu group, under the restructuring of my father and his confidants, was merged into the Karen group. Mr. Gu suffered a huge blow, fell ill, and couldn't recover. As for Mrs. Zhuang, she was a smart woman. Knowing our family's methods were quite sinister, she took her wealth and possessions, abandoning her husband, and fled abroad. Many years later, one night, as my father became the richest man in City A, a man resembling Mr. Gu was begging at the party entrance. I happened to spot him, seeing that his entire right arm was broken, his empty sleeve dangling, looking truly pathetic. I told my assistant to generously give him a bun. The next day, on my way to a private jet for vacation, news reported that a beggar had fought with a pack of stray dogs over a bun and was eventually gnawed until not even a bone was left. How pitiful. Yeah,